We are so back. We hopefully have better audio here. We're going to do the Eclipse series, Harvest series, for the Zodiac, because I felt called to, because it feels like it's that time to reconnect. So many things our systems go. There's so many beautiful harvested seeds and crops from just the last 6 months that I'm excited to tap into the collective consciousness at this time and really scoot forward. Channel a message. So let's see who we have first who wanted to come through. Funny, first wanted to come through Aries. I mean, it doesn't get any more aware than that. I believe that Aries is trying to fall in alignment with putting themselves first, truly. I think we see that so much with the child archetype right now, where there is this consciousness arising that surrounds the inner child having the ability to sovereignly put themselves first, right? So there's this awareness that the child in all of us can have, that we have the right, the autonomy to put ourselves first. Because even the sacrifices of others may not be able to articulate the needs for Aries, maybe. So, a new putting me first era for Aries. I'm really just going to allow Spirit to come through and talk about what is harvesting for Aries after these 6 months. I believe these 6 months, again, have been about the seeds that we plant selfishly because we want them to grow for us. I feel like Aries is coming into an experience where the seeds that 6 months ago you were planting that had nothing to do with what other people get from being connected to Aries, right? The seeds that you planted to heal yourself, right? Four of Swords. The seeds that you planted to enrich yourself, to work with the immortal flame within yourself, to experience a life that is authentically yours. So 6 months harvesting that in your cycles as an individual, Aries, which is incredible. Oh wow, oh wow, oh wow. So the first two that fell face up: Ace of Cups, Eight of Pentacles. Okay, Aries. So with the Ace of Cups, I've really been channeling, especially right now when we go through certain climate seasons. So, you know, hurricane season being something prevalent, but a lot of this concept of like what happens spiritually when things flood have been a lot of the downloads that I've been asked to like really like share with the people around me at this time in my life. But the concept of a flood genuinely comes from the healing properties needed from water. So, you know, we have to remember that there are a lot of death cycles that return to a water and not even just like soil. And so the Ace of Cups being channeled in that concept for me right now as I was diving deep into what the spiritual symbology of flooding or large bodies of water or water spirits in general, what they do. And so this Ace of Cups is something that is emerging from when your highest power determines that it's time for there to be an overflow of water abundance, of the purification abundance, when you are now going to be flooded with all the things that you really intended to manifest. This Ace of Cups comes from that depth. So this opportunity from God comes to you because of the depth of your own faith, Aries. So when I see this Ace of Cups matching your work, it's the things you did to put yourself in first. Genuinely, right? It's the things that we do, Eight of Pentacles, to put ourselves ahead, to make ourselves distinguished, if you will. So for each of anyone who's resonating with owning the Aries energy within self, which we can all do, we can all look at our first house, we can all look at how Aries energy is within all of us. The Aries energy has distinguished itself. There is something that you have set yourself apart with. And so this Ace of Cups emerging from this time of spiritually symbolizing the replenishment, the renewal, the sum, the equalness, the balance, the Libra season eclipse, that says, so within the way you've distinguished yourself internally, you are being mirrored externally. the renewal of a lifetime. And the other card that came out at the same time, just face down, was the King of Pentacles again. For Aries, the manifestation right now is who you really are, the ways that 6 months ago you were planting a very specific seed that had to do with how you wanted to set yourself apart as an individual, a desire that you did for your child self, right? What Aries is getting the payout for is like, maybe it wasn't appropriate. Maybe it's not fair that you had to do this for yourself, but you did this shit for yourself, Aries. And the thing that emerges from your waters that are overflowing right now, from the hand of God, right? The thing that your new renewal can encompass all of the ways that you have provided yourself that which another outside of you could not do. King of Pentacles. This, as the core energy, Aries, is, I mean, astronomical. That is where you're standing. And bottom of the deck here, the Knight of Pentacles, excuse me. So this is also a lot of Aries energy understanding prophecy. This is a lot of Aries energy connecting with, this was how I got from here to there. Like, these two energies are connected by something, and the thing that's connecting the two, this phase, is this investment, this part of you that was always on the way. This is your faith. This is the faith of a mustard seed. Yeah, it can manifest these types of things because you kept moving forward on something that eventually ended up becoming boom, 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 boom. Now that you've got the investment, and this is something that came from somewhere. So like, this could be an investor investing in you, but it's coming from the depths of your heart. So the real people that you want to believe in you at this time are who are revealing themselves, like who you would want to give you that offer to, who you would want to match you for how much you've done for yourself, right? Because the way that we attract another person that can do anything that feels remarkable for us as a gesture would only amount to how capable we are of doing that for ourselves, how frequently we do that for ourselves, right? To be able to acknowledge the behavior when we see it outside of ourselves, right? And so again, Aries, you might be surprised by the types of investments. They're going to come from how you really feel, the deep feelings that you have about. So this is such a beautiful thing because, like I said, it could be just an investor that's coming from somewhere that feels really safe, right? Because there was an abundance of this. You have a lot of this to give. So being seen, recognized, and matched and offered opportunities that also come from people who match the bigness, who match the self-love, you just have you can seat yourself at a different level. But again, this is connected to a prophecy. This is connected to a story playing out, a way of like, you must keep walking forward on the mustard seed faith that you have in order for you to connect this sort of work put in, outcome, rejuvenating you and making something sustainable. And then therefore also connecting you to a certain status, like growing your empire, your kingdom, what you have. Oh my goodness. And crossing the energy, we have the Seven of Swords. And I think with Aries, the biggest thing is there's something huge that just happened. Our Aries energy, which makes sense because, again, our cardinal signs right now are getting this the most directed. But I will say with the Seven of Swords, bottom of the deck, we have the Sun. So this is the return of the prodigal son. This is the resurrection. This is the revival of your inner child. Remember when I said you noticed this child in you, Aries, said, I noticed that there are people who are that this scenario keeps coming up where it's possible for things to be taken from me, right? For something to be taken from me, for something to not, for me to be lying to myself, right? So this level of dishonesty that says the thing that you were going for that's outside of you could take care of you better than you can take care of you. And so, like I said, this renewal and this eclipse for those who have done this journey and have opened up their energy to being like, you now see something, Aries, as deception that without your liberation, you would be getting got by this. They would just keep racking it up. So again, I think that this is also showing how quickly the human race is evolving, but the child archetype is also ascending and elevating. And so I'm seeing even the divine child in all of our energy really coming into a place of like, I'm getting so skilled, I'm learning so much, I'm advanced, like there's no containing how fast I am downloading. I'm so close to the divine, I'm able to just get this shit off the top. This is a skill, this opportunity is the thing that this is your divine pipeline. So you realize that like it is deceptive to keep this energy around you when you are in this experience. So therefore, liberating yourself is the identification of like, it's like, again, I say, we are magnetizing out the particles that blur or muddy the picture here for you, Aries. And Aries, I am not even going to hold you. It has to do with the lovers, partnerships we pick. Because if the lovers is in reverse, it means a partnership that you have, it's on you to pick, it's on you to include into your life. Because the lovers upright is when you get married to the person, right? When you're like, okay, God, today's my married day, I'm marrying the person. It's like the lovers in the upright is like, ding, ding, ding. It's when the divine comes down and consecrates the marriage. It's like, yes, congratulations. That is the marriage you should have been in, right? Or that is a union you should, I did in fact, you guessed right. You used your fucking feelings to determine, is this a God level feeling that I have for this person or not? And I feel like you recognizing that you have this reservoir of abundance that has to do with the intuitive, the water, right? You have all of this water that has accrued for you, and it's so that may be outside of what people see you for, right? As Aries, right? As a fire sign, as a fire energy. But that is where this renewal reflects your internal love of self, right? These emotions that we have about ourselves. And when you started to realize, like, I'm sitting on top of a castle I made myself, I think it has to do with a partnership or a dynamic, a relationship you were creating that maybe at one time you thought you were only in this. I'm not even saying this is a failure. This is a relationship that if you knew God did not ordain this, so therefore it's just a choice, you would not participate in it. So I'm feeling like Aries isn't the bad guy here, because I'm getting that beautiful time, but thank you, Spirit. I am getting that Aries really is not our villain here, because there's deception around your situation that has to do with this big renewal, this big show of how hard you've worked. But then there's something overtly deceptive about it. And it has to do with all Aries is being gifted, no matter what polarity you're facing in your situation, whether it's positive or negative for you at this time of the viewing of this video. In either case, when I see the lovers in the reverse, it means there is a relationship you are creating within at this time that the divine, if you knew the divine, again, I say, if you knew the divine did not want you, does not even have a thought on that, like, that's not divine. I mean, you can do that, but it's not your assignment. I think Aries was genuinely going towards something that they believed was for them. And so a lot of you, it doesn't even have to be sad. Again, I want Aries to really ease into this water where you're loving and you catch yourself, right? Like where you cool yourself off, where you're like, you know what? Like, honestly, it doesn't have to be a big deal that, like, oh, if this really isn't something, like, because I feel like, oh, again, Aries they're taking advantage of the umbilical cord. All this fucking ability you've made, all this self-love you've developed and you have proof of, that you made physical, that you worked hard to receive, that is now being reflected in an offer to you, an investment into you. That was coming into you because of how connected you are to the divine. Because how much you get that shit straight from the source. Like, you're still the divine child. So anyone you're dealing with, whether you're in partnership with other people or just situations in your life or circumstances, right? The partnerships you make, you only make them because you think they're on your path. So now that we're healing abuse wounds, deception wounds, when all of that is now coming to the surface, right? When the waters don't recede, when they just continue to overflow, when it is now revealed, when it is revelation times, this is just indicative of, like, it really chalk it up as a net loss, because the deception is just about the fact that, like, you are committing to something that you or were committing to something, or now are in the change of with this eclipse, committing to something that you thought God wanted you to be doing. And when it's like, oh, God doesn't care if this is not it, or like if say you're even like looking for something specific and you thought something was, you thought a relationship was like where it was going to be at for you in terms of your business, and it's like, that's actually over there. Or you're about to link up, or you really thought one person had a certain destiny with you, like had something they needed to do with you, and it's like, no, God didn't say any of that. Like, what happens when you take the spirituality, the sacredness out of partnership? So I think that is what manifested for Aries. Like, you understand that, like, if I don't have a sacred relationship to you, so that's this era for Aries. Like, if it's not a sacred relationship to you, then I'm just bored. Then I will always be secretly pulling in, drawing in something that will be more appropriate to my flavor palette, right? Babe, because in the past, you got the bag. I'm telling you, Aries is at a place where they're already aware of their fucking physical independence and autonomy. The children are free. The children can take care of themselves. The children can make it happen. They're reinforced by God. They're getting paychecks from God as God intended. Bring in the age of the Aquarian. That's what you're seeing right now. I mean, like, Aries is there. That part of the collective's Aries energy is there. So now that you've leveled up, now that you own businesses, now that you are the king of your own castle, maybe what was holding you up before and you thought you had to be doing, you don't feel like you got to be doing no more. Maybe because I've leveled up, I see things differently. Maybe it's not as great as I thought it was. Exactly, bruv. And how do you know? Because the King of Cups comes into the picture and it's a match. I was just about to say, I was like, you get introduced to better. There's the fucking bullshit you attract, excuse me, Aries, that you attract when you are dealing with people who, I mean, they're just so loosely connected to your divine purpose. But when something that is divinely guided to you comes in, it's a tower moment. It like shows you immediately, like for me, I can see this in my life. It's like for a lot of people, when I come into the picture, it's like, oh shit, that's so emotionally connected to me. And like, really, like we could be having people of this par. We need, in our lives, we need to address the place where we're lying to ourselves. That's what it gives right now, Aries. Like, if you could be tasting the depths here, because I think Aries is ready for deeper relationships. Can I get a hell yeah? Aries is like, no, because you can take it. You're literally the divine child. You're the umbilical cord of it all. You're the one who gets the fucking shit off the top. And so you don't want to be in an experience where people think like you can't take deep depth? No, because this vanity didn't serve you. It was deceptive. And all they were doing was taking advantage of the fact that you really believed in them. You really thought they were the ones. When Aries realizes like, oh, y'all just abused me. I thought my parents were the world to me. I thought this thing outside of me, and I just use parents as the allegory for the child, right? I thought this thing outside of me that was trying to tell me it was running the game was really running the game. And it's not. And when Aries realized that, when Aries gets put on, it's like, oh, you're not my creator. You are an employee to the motherfucker who really designed me. Interesting. Again, it's how do we feel? Because again, you actually meet your match. Aries is meeting its match. It like physically manifested already for you. In the past, you are already moving off of this new sense of value, Aries. And that's why this whatever is deceptive, again, let the chopper sing. Oh my God, this also fell out. The enlightening, is it really even a Three of Swords? Does it even hurt you though? I feel like when you think something is for you, when you're someone who's out in the world and you're like, oh, I thought something was for me. If you really thought it was for you and you get rejected or it doesn't work out or it's a misconnect, whatever, you would then therefore go into the Three of Swords, right? Which is like what's happening right now. The truth of what's happening right now is hurting how I feel, right? Three of Swords. When it's a Three of Swords reverse, it's like you realize because it didn't hurt. Like, I think this is the worst fear. This is the scariest thing you can think of. Three of Swords is like, like the thing that would hurt my heart. Like, the loss that would hurt my heart, right? Allegedly. Three of Swords reverse says, oh, wait, the chopper just sung and it, like, nothing happened. Like, I'm out of blood. Like, you notice how it's not dripping? No. Like, it's just like, nothing happened. So, again, Aries, I feel like the way that you have now been enlightened, and I really need to get a water break, but the way you are being enlightened, because you kind of just have to go through this final removal of these partnerships, these things you're connecting yourself to, because you thought they were on your path, and now that you are more conscious, right, because you've already done so by just like being an obedient, amazing child and product of the Most High, you're like, oh, that shit didn't even hurt to lose. My worst fear just happened, public humiliation, whatever. You can give it to Aries right now. Like, I'm telling you right now, if you want to fucking try to do somebody dirty or make an underdog out of anybody, make it Aries. Because they gonna attract it right back, Queen of Wands. Like, you're sitting, like, your shadow's in your hand. Like, Aries, I'm so proud of you because, like I said, you get more depth of connection with people and places and things in your life when you are in touch with your shadow. When you are choosing to honor the inner child that says, you know what? I invested in me 6 months ago in something that nobody believed. Nobody outside. Everybody was like, you're stupid. You don't know how you drive. You crash in the race. Whatever. They said what they wanted to say about you 6 months ago. But here you are 6 months as in now under this eclipse. And look, boom. Look what you've got. Look what you've got. Look what you've got. you're shining your light. Like, you're shining a light on the darkness that has happened to you because you're like, that is a supernatural element in there that is lighting this, right? Like when we talk about the origins of the oil lamp with like Hanukkah, like the sacredness of like the flame keeping the light going magically, like that's how sacred the hermit is. And for Aries to finally be in touch with the darkness they went through as a child when they were abused or taken advantage of for being having to surrender to vulnerability just based on what stage of life they were in. Yeah, when the children vote, like I said at the beginning of the video, when they rise the fuck up, it's a different vibe. It's a different vibe. And like I said, we're getting so many different elements outside of you. Again, this is like the eclipse is also going to bring you into the match because we've got the King of Cups, which is the version of you loading, right? Like, I'm King of Cups. I can be deeper. I've transcended this fake deceptive energy where I wasn't being honest with myself because I would have changed my mind if I knew that these people weren't connected to me. Like, you might have liked what your lifestyle was, but as soon as you heard that it had nothing to do with God, it didn't have nothing to do with what you're supposed to be doing, you're like, well, then what the like, it's like, I was married to who? And that's not even my divine partner? Who am I supposed to be married to? It's like that vibe. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, or you mean I was just dealing with my birth family and they're my ops and I'm supposed to be somewhere else? Or you mean to tell me I call that girl my best friend and that's not even the divine best friend? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, when you actually get a taste of what is for you, it's super different. But I believe this moon is bringing you that reflection of your newly acclaimed depth, that you don't want anything deceptive because there's no point for it, right? And the only thing that they could get away was making you fear your own archetype. Hello, Emperor, Aries energy. This is true for you. Queen of Swords. Because, again, the Queen of Swords, what is the Queen of Swords? It's everybody's least favorite bitch because she always runs her mouth. She's a yapper. But she's always right. She's like, this is the truth. I'm going to speak to the truth, which is very sacred to come out of their throat chakra. So, again, when they made you think that you couldn't speak about how you were the boss, how this was you the whole time, how this was your whole plan, this is your empire, like, nobody's running you. That's the thing, Aries, is whatever's going on right now in your life, whatever is exiting, what is deceptive, whatever doesn't even hurt you right now, because it's like you could go if you're being deceptive, you're not even part of the picture, go. But whatever that was for you, babes, I mean, at the end of the day, it's because they didn't want you to speak and stand in your truth as the emperor, as the person who maybe was actually giving context to the whole thing. Like, you're in my world, babes. Outcome for Aries, we've got the 5 of Wands, Death card. Aries is about to nuke the whole game. Like, you're about to transform a situation, right? I keep seeing that Aries has been being asked by the Death card to transform out of playing in this arena. Aries has been just in a genuine place of just like bickering back and forth, like not even like vibing, like just big, like literally, like you're realizing like so much of your life was competitive. The people you associated was like competitive, like everything was about this competitive, because these children were trying to survive without the guardianship, without like their source, without their parents pointing them in the direction of their faith and not like the people outside of them or the other humans they need to stay alive. You know, so once that happens, like Aries is walking away from an association, from a way of being, from a situation that I know Aries is like, that is ending in like a giant, like cartoonish brawl. Like, who knows? This is like just like animated. Who knows what this really even is? You're leaving this because you run businesses, because you realize when I got deeper, when I went through that portal, when I actually transformed my heart space and I actually took acknowledgement of like, wow. And I'm telling you, it stems from this thing that comes in, a seed that grew for you, because I don't even think you weren't even trying that hard when you planted this seed 6 months ago. But then it just magically turns into exactly everything you want right when you need it 6 months later in right divine timing with the eclipse. And it's like, oh shit. And it's too bad for these clowns because they're getting left. You're transforming out of the situation. You're not even there. Because you have another fucking 8 stacks of businesses to fall back on. And honestly, all publicity is good publicity in terms of you, Aries, because you're being authentic. You're really putting yourself out there. You're really doing the thing, you know? So I'm so excited for your energy, Aries. And I'm just going to pull bottom of the deck, Child Within, just one of these bad boys for you because you guys rock. And I'm excited for you. This is a big change in your life, though. It's the Death energy. Beep. And what is the change? Petrified wood. Beginnings. So So Aries, marinate on that, right? The storm is just bringing you a whole new beginning, Aries. Genuinely. Like, you're about to see past that storm so quickly. Because you got this seed manifested and was so strong and so physically visible. Like, how your self-love was changing and bringing you physical things that were helping you survive and thrive and replenish yourself. That's why deceptive energy, that like, it could have been a big deal if you hadn't done this level of work. Too bad you're riding with death into your new beginning. Congratulations to you, Aries. There's not really much else to say. That's super exciting, and we will see you all. I'm just so glad to be back, so many beautiful things are transpiring at this time, but congratulations. Happy solar eclipse, new moon, partial lunar eclipse, whatever, the eclipse in Libra. It doesn't really matter because you can watch this whenever, but we were under an eclipse energy when we got this beautiful message, when this really turned for you. So I'm excited for you to be able to have the autonomy that's coming out of this cycle, and you're just going to have so much more depth and beautiful, deep, meaningful experiences coming in this next beginning and chapter. So sending love and joy.